David Genty, the gallerist of Edwin, showing Edwin's work for the very first time in the UK. I'd like to start by saying how generous and positive the Reverend Mark Brown has been throughout the preparations for this project. Many thanks to Mark and all his team, Jackie, Jane, Alison, and all church members who have made us so welcome in setting up this exhibition over the past week.
Beautiful church it is.
Thank you. I met Edwin about 10 years ago while we were living in his part of Western France, whereas I was involved in an artist residency and exhibition program. We had a small gallery there, and I showed the mainly French artists I had discovered. Edwin being an honorary Frenchman, having lived there since 1976. Honorary. It was in this project's exhibition space, a former nave of the 12th century church, that I first saw Edwin's work. So it's kind of fitting that we've hung his Pilgrim's Progress series in the church here. We were subsequently invited to a studio in Lié, near the Abbey of Maillezais in the Marais-Poitevin region, and we later showed his work at our gallery in Vouvron. Coming back to Kent a couple of years ago, I continued to work with the artists discovered while in France, mainly doing various London art fairs and putting on some shows at our house, Tiger's Head, here in Church Lane. When Edwin mentioned at the beginning of the year that he would like to launch his autobiography, Pursued by Bishops in Kent, having been born and spent his early life in the county, and could I think of an exhibition venue, something of a loaded question perhaps, we immediately thought of Tonbridge. Mark and I had discussed the possibility of an art exhibition in the church a little while ago. My wife Helen said straight away that Edwin's Pilgrim's Progress series of paintings would work really well in the church. Mark agreed, and here we are this evening. Before passing the parole, as we would say in France, to Edwin, I'd like to say that the exhibition continues in Tiger's Head, and that Patrick, Edwin's publisher, is here with copies of the books for sale, and I'm sure Edwin will be delighted to sign copies during the course of the evening. I give you Edwin Apps.
In the Middle Ages, churches was a custom for churches to give sanctuary to people who were being pursued. And I don't doubt that this church, which is very old, has probably given a sanctuary to people who've been pursued. But I do think that perhaps tonight, for the first time, it's giving sanctuary to someone who's been pursued by bishops. When you write an autobiography, it's really rather a step in your life. And I had a few thoughts about it, and I put them down. I'm going to read it to you. It's very, very short. Anyone who writes his autobiography must ask himself why. Why is he doing it? And in my case, it is because it is a form of writing which has always fascinated me. I don't mean the memoirs of celebrities that are cobbled together on the wave of a particular success or scandal, but the serious attempts of people to recount and make sense of their own lives, because that's what an autobiography is at its best. Reading autobiographies has always seemed to me like going down a street where all the front doors are shut, and suddenly a front door opens, and somebody says, "Would you like to come in and have a look round?" And you go in and you see how they've arranged the house and how they live, and you see their approach to life, and you get to understand them and know them in an intimate way. The difficulty with writing autobiographies is that it is a unique experience in every sense, because you have to wait till you're almost dead before you can do it. And you only get one chance, and there are dangers. the temptation to pay off old scores and the danger of hurting people. As a painter, I have been struck by the similarity between writing an autobiography and painting a self-portrait. In the latter case, you use your reflection in a mirror as the base for the painting. And in the former case, you use your life as the base to make a narrative. And in both cases, it's important to remember that the painting and the narrative are more important than either your reflection or your life, which are only the basis for what is hopefully a work of art. It's been great fun writing Pursued by Bishops, and I hope you will have fun reading it, and if you like it, do tell your friends. Bye.
I think Edwin's just going